So here we are with the camera comparison, hopefully that you've been waiting for. I have a camera comparison of the S23 Ultra and the 14 Pro Max. So let's get into it. What's up guys, welcome back to Michael's Tech Talk. So back again, another camera comparison with the Samsung S23 Ultra and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So yeah, let's check these out. So first off, let's do a quick spec overview of the hardware of these two phones. So let's get stuck in. So we have that new 200 megapixel main sensor. We have that 10 megapixel periscope telephoto lens. We have that other 10 megapixel telephoto lens, and we have the 12 megapixel ultra wide. On the inside then we have the 12 megapixel selfie camera. So in terms of hardware, it's well stacked. So over to the iPhone. So the iPhone Pro series went through a change from the 13 Pro Max from last year. So Apple finally upgraded that main sensor to a 48 megapixel sensor. We have that 12 megapixel telephoto and we have that 12 megapixel ultra wide as well. Not to mention then we have our LiDAR scanner. On paper, these two are pretty well stacked. So let's see how they perform.
And they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that, because you don't know who you're going to meet. Tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that, because you don't know who you're going to meet.
So this is the 4K at 30 frames per second on the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the S23 Ultra. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also let me know what you think of the audio on both phones. I will flick between the audio sources on both of these videos, so let me know what you think of the audio. Thank you. So this is the 4K video at 60 frames per second on the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the Samsung S23 Ultra. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. and let me know what you think of the audio on both phones. I will flick between the two and I will highlight on the screen which one the audio was coming from. So this is the 4K video at 30 frames per second on the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the Samsung S23 Ultra. Let me know what you think of the video, what you think of the colouring. Let me know what you think of the audio. I'll flip between the audio tracks on each of the videos. Let me know. This is the portrait video slash cinematic video on the S23 Ultra and the 14 Pro Max. So let me know what you think of the video. What do you think of the blur behind me? What do you think of the colours? Let me know what you think down below. This is the 4K video at 30 frames per second on the rear cameras of the S23 Ultra and the 14 Pro Max. Both have no image stabilization turned on, so it's just me walking along at a steady pace. So let me know what you think of the stabilization. Also let me know what you think of the clarity and the colours. Let me know. This is the video on the S23 Ultra and the 14 Pro Max with stabilization on. So on the S23 Ultra, this is the super steady mode on the 4K at 30, and on the iPhone this is the action mode, which downgrades the video to 2.8K at 30 frames per second. So let me know what you think. This is the video on the rear cameras of the S23 Ultra and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. This is the stabilization modes on, so on the Samsung this is super steady, and on the iPhone this is action mode. The Samsung is at 4K at 30 frames, whereas the action mode on the iPhone downgrades to 2.8K at 30 frames per second. So let me know what you think of the quality. Thank you. So this is the super steady and action mode on the S23 Ultra and the 14 Pro Max. So we're going to get Bear to come and chase me here. Come on, Bear. Come on. Yeah, come on. I'm going to get you. Come here. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. So here we are, we've got the cinematic and portrait video on the S23 Ultra and the 14 Pro Max. So I'm going to focus on the football, and then I will then focus on Bear out of shot once I throw a treat for him. Right, go get it. So focusing on the football, focusing on Bear. Then focusing on the football. Then back to Bear. Then back to the football. Then back to Bear. Look at that big frothy gulp, eating his treats. Back to the football. And here he comes. Here you go. There. And there we have it, guys. So there's my camera test for the S23 Ultra and the 14 Pro Max. It's a bit of a mixed bag for me personally with these two phones. They both have their pros and they both have their cons. For me, the S23 Ultra has had a massive improvement on photography. The portrait mode shots are definitely one of the best I've seen on a smartphone for quite a while now. And the colours and the profiles are really good on it. There is still a bit of shutter lag with this though. If you're trying to catch that moving images, for example, if you've got kids or if you're maybe out with your dog or something and you're trying to catch that moving shot, Samsung still does suffer a little bit with the shutter lag. And I know there is tricks and tips out there with the camera assistant to try and increase the shutter speed. But for me personally, it didn't really have much of an effect, and it still struggles to capture some of those moving shots. The 4K and the 8K video is good. I mean, the 8K video is noticeably better than the S23 Ultra from last year. And the 4K video definitely looks to be better from the S23 Ultra from last year. So good improvements there on the S23 Ultra. And for the iPhone had a big overhaul from the 13 Pro Max, upgrading that main 12 megapixel sensor to a 48 megapixel sensor. We've got the 12 megapixel telephoto and ultra wide lenses in there. So with LiDAR as well, which takes unbelievably good low light shots. Fantastic. What I did find with the iPhone was when I snapped a shot or a portrait photo or something like that, the shots that came out of the iPhone were definitely true to eye in terms of color. They didn't add any colors, or they didn't add any extra saturation than what the Samsung would. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad feature of the Samsung, but true to the eye, from what I would see, the iPhone definitely put out the most accurate shots without, you know, before you go in to edit them and things like that there. So the one thing that does let the iPhone down is the lack of zoom. Samsung has that in abundance, whereas the iPhone, you know, you're up to 15 times zoom. Let's be honest, digital zoom is pretty pants. So yeah, that is a kind of a big thing with the iPhone now that really needs to jump on and try and get better to try and compete with the likes of the Samsung on the zoom front. But 4K video, I still maintain the iPhone is the one to beat for 4K video. Its stabilization and just the color and the quality of the video is just, I don't know how there's such a difference between the photos and the video, but the video on the iPhone is just, it's just as it should be. There's no 8K video, but for the majority of people that are shooting video, 8K video isn't really going to be something that you're going to use day to day. I mean, it's okay to use it on the likes of the Samsung, where you can sort of shoot an 8K video and experiment with it, but in reality, there's not going to be the people watching all that 8K content out there. Not yet anyway. So for me, 8K is still a little bit of a gimmick. It's just not there yet. But in terms of 4K, there's nothing beating the iPhone. So what do you guys think of the footage from the S23 Ultra and the iPhone 14 Pro Max? Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts of what you see. So yeah, that about wraps up this video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, smash that like button for me, and don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring that little bell to be notified of new videos just like this one. And yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up. Stay tuned. I will have my full review for the S23 Ultra coming soon, so stay locked for that coming, guys, if you're looking some more S23 content. And if there's other things that you're looking for the S23 Ultra, I'll leave you links down in the description below. I've got cases, I've got camera comparisons, so yeah, tons of stuff there if you're looking for S23 Ultra content. And until the next one, I'll catch you later.